We'll call the regular meeting in the New Ulm Economic Development Authority for Tuesday, June 14, 2016, 8 a.m. To order, first item on the agenda is roll call. We have a quorum, so item number 2, approve the minutes of the last meeting.
I'll make a motion to approve.
Second.
We got a motion and a second to approve the minutes of the last meeting. Any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Motion carries. Item number 3 from the New Ulm Economic Development Corporation Coordinator regarding activities during the month of May 2016. Heather?
All right, good morning. We'll start with the Section 8 report for the month of May. Note, we had 103 vouchers on the program.
We're still on number
Oh.
3, right?
Aren't we on
Oh,
3?
sorry, did we skip number 3?
We're on Brian's tolls.
Oh,
Oh.
did I jump the wrong one?
Mm-hmm.
We jumped.
That's okay.
That's
Jumped
all right.
ahead.
Have my report. I'm here to stand for any questions.
And I have one.
Sorry about that, Heather. My
Are
fault.
we going back to number 3?
Yeah. I read number 3, but then I called on Heather.
Brian, I don't know how much you can talk about yet, but your comments your very first comment was talking with Roger Schultz about the land west of the airport.
Yes.
Mr. Schultz indicated a willing to talk, and are you able to share any more than that?
There is nothing more to share, really.
Okay.
Like a lot of negotiations, it's kind of,
I didn't know how much you could even say at this
baby
point.
steps. I think that there is a willingness for Roger and his family to enter into negotiations, but we haven't started negotiations.
Okay, then probably the rest of my questions I probably shouldn't ask then, so I'll pass.
Yeah, it's
Negotiations, I don't want to pin you down to anything.
Yeah. I would agree. It's
Yeah.
best not to talk about it.
Yep, okay. That was the only question I had, thank you.
Other questions?
Nope. Anybody?
All right. Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you.
Entertain a
Maybe
motion
a
to
comment though, Brian, if, would we ever want to take a look at what's your ideal goal or plan for that industrial park area, and what do you want to have in the future? Not just from Mr. Schultz, but from a city's perspective.
Well, we've got about 23 acres left in our existing airport industrial park. We've had inquiries for about half or 3/4 of that, depending upon what the end users decide. So my goal is that New Ulm never be void of developed industrial land. So whether it's the Schultz property or whether it's other property in that area or elsewhere, that we as a city have developed industrial land for industries that want to expand, whether they're moving into New Ulm or whether they're existing manufacturers that want to grow. We have to have available land
Yeah.
developed. And Dave and I have been working on that with the Renew proposal,
Right.
which we both feel is critical.
Very good. And by the way, I'm not related to that Mr. Schultz, in case anybody's wondering.
Unfortunately.
You are? I'm not. Thank you, Brian.
All right.
Any more questions, concerns?
I'll offer a motion to accept his report.
Second.
We got a motion and a second to accept the report. Any more discussion? Seeing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Motion carries. Item number 4 from the EDA staff regarding administrative activities during the month of May 2016. Now, Heather.
All right, getting back to the Section 8 report. Again, note, we have 103 vouchers on the program for the month of May. Payments to landlords exceeded disbursements by just over $2,000. Administrative fee disbursements exceeded expenses by just over $1,200 for the month of May. You can see the unaudited balances on pages 3 and 4 of the report. And note on page 5, we have 102 vouchers on the program as of June 1st with a waiting list of 69. We have currently stopped issuing new vouchers. We will continue to monitor that and begin issuing if funding becomes available. But right now we are spending pretty close to what we're receiving. on that program. Any
How long do you
questions?
expect that to happen? How long?
I think we might be able to send out another 5 letters or so in the month of July.
Okay.
But nothing for June, I don't think. We do have an application out for set-aside funding. If I would find out that we're getting some additional funding, that could change things, but
Okay.
right now we're just on hold. Moving on then to the public housing program. Note the monthly and year-to-date activity on the report. As of the end of May, expenditures have exceeded revenues for the month of May, expenditures exceeded revenues by about $11,500. Broadway House is fully leased with 37 on the waiting list, and the family units are fully leased with 31 on the waiting list. Moving on to the EDA report, cash assets of just over $431,000. Note that we did have a lot sale close during the month of May, and we did receive a purchase agreement for the spec house at the 612 Fender Drive address, and that was rejected by the board at a special meeting. And we have not had any response back on that. Moving on to the property rehabilitation loan program on page 11 of the report, note available funds of $316,672. There was no new activity during the month of May. The rental property report is on page 12. Cash assets of about $69,500 there. And moving on to the Garden Terrace report, Garden Terrace has 86 units leased with 55 on the waiting list. They have 2 vacancies. They had 2 turnovers last month. They have no move-out notices pending for July. Any questions?
Anybody have any questions for Heather?
I'll move the report.
Second.
We got a motion and a second to approve the report. Any more discussion? Seeing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Motion carries. Item 5A, consider resolution approving the public housing operating budget. Heather?
All right, it is budget season, and we always start off with the public housing budget that's due by July 1st to HUD, concurrent with our fiscal year. So this budget would start July 1st, 2016 and end June 30th, 2017. This budget covers the day-to-day operations of our 50 public housing units. We have 40 units at the Broadway House Apartments and 10 scattered site family unit rental houses. We work with our fee accountant, C Neighbor, to put the budget together each year. This budget is really a status quo compared to the current budget. We are projecting, some small pay increases for the upcoming year and that sort of thing, but there isn't really anything that jumps out at me that I would want to point out. You can see the report, slight increases in each area based on our expenses year to date. So we're just projecting out for next year. Small 1.5% to 2.5% increases in each area.
Anybody have any questions for Heather?
I'll make
I'll
a
offer,
motion to approve.
that's a resolution.
Oh, yes,
Did you offer the resolution? I'll second the resolution.
okay.
We got a motion and a second to adopt the resolution waived reading. Any more discussion? Seeing none? Heather,
Right.
please call the roll.
Commissioner Fix?
Yes.
Commissioner Gugesberg?
Yes.
Commissioner Schultz?
Yes.
And President Schmitz?
Yes, motion carries. Item number 5B, consider a motion authorizing payment of the housing program claims, public housing program claims.
I'll move it.
I do have one question.
Yes.
Gotta
Spent
second it.
nine, what?
Need to second it first. Did you second it?
No.
I'll second.
Second the motion. Oh,
Okay, we got motion and second. Any discussion?
Yes. The lawn tractor we paid $9,700, is that just used for Broadway House?
That does the whole front block of that block,
Okay,
from 3rd North to 4th North.
That is a big tractor.
that's what I was thinking. That's a big tractor with a lot of money for a half a lot, or half a block, I should say. Okay.
Any more discussion? Seeing none? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Motion carries. Item 6A, consider paying early remainder of the EDA assessments on the Affordable Housing District and future lots. Reggie, got anything on that?
Good morning, Commissioners. We brought this last month, and since then, the city has approved the payoff of certain debt early. As part of that, what we are asking the EDA to do is just to pay off their portion of the EDA's special assessments. For the special assessment that they're owed, it's currently at 6%. It would save interest of about $7,400, so over through 2022. So the amount of principal that would be paid early is $32,721.98. So anyway, there is money in the EDA fund, and it can handle that. So, and it is a good savings. So.
All right, thank you. Any questions? Seeing none, entertain a motion.
So moved.
Second.
We got a motion and a second. Any more discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Motion carries. Item 7A, consider resolution authorizing the EDA to match a portion of the Southern Minnesota Initiative Foundation grant to be used for daycare training licensing in the Brown County in the amount of $1,752.
Mr. Chair, I've been advised by the city attorney's office that since I helped write the grant and chair this committee, it would be a conflict of interest for me to be involved in the discussion or to vote on this. So I will have to abstain from both items.
Thank you.
Reluctantly.
All right, that said, I'll give a brief overview, and then Donna Lombricht from the United Way is here to speak and answer questions on the item as well. So you can see in the overview, there's been concerns locally that we need daycare options, especially newborn child care options are extremely limited. Brown County Family Services reports that we have lost approximately 30 daycare licenses in Brown County. They were not renewed, and it doesn't sound like any new daycares are coming in to take the place. So we've got a shortage in the area for daycare options. And with that, I think I'll turn it over to Donna. She's been working on this.
Right. I guess I don't know if you need me to summarize the entire, grant, or whether I should just kind of answer any questions that you might have. So tell me what you want me to do.
Give us a brief summary.
Okay. So as Heather was mentioning, there was kind of a interest in this topic, and really it is kind of spread out throughout the county, which is kind of an exciting thing to really look at this in a broader perspective than just our community. And in that process, we have joined the EDAs from both Sleepy Eye and Springfield, as well as a number of other people on this committee that have worked on how we should address that. And we sort of learned of a potential SMIF grant, which we did apply for. And the exciting part about that grant is, that we did already receive that grant for $20,000. And the stipulation for SMIF grants is to have a match for that. The good part about that is it isn't a dollar-for-dollar match. So we have a $20,000 match from that, and we have to match it with just 25% in cash. So that's $5,000. United Way has matched has given $2,500 towards that $5,000 as part of our venture grant program, which looks at new opportunities for us to make an impact in our communities. And we see this as a great financial impact, and that's one of our goals at United Way, is to support people's ability to get good jobs and maintain them. And of course, childcare can be a barrier for that. So the remaining 25%, which is the $2,500, was prorated over the 3 communities' EDAs, and that's why your amount is like that $1,750. So I think that's a bargain for a $40,000 program, and so we are hoping that you will consider the request for those funds today. If you have any other questions, I'm here to help you.
Anybody have any questions for Donna?
Nope.
I think it sounds like a good thing. I know there's a shortage of daycare, so.
Extremely.
I would note in the EDA budget, we do have $2,000 for consultant services in the budget that has not been used. This probably doesn't fall under that category, but would be more of a miscellaneous item, but we could use the money set aside to cover this cost.
Okay, thank you. Anybody else have any comments, concerns? Seeing none, entertain a motion.
So moved.
I'll second.
We got a motion and a second to offer the resolution, waive the reading, authorize the DDA to match the portion of $1,752. Any more discussion? Seeing none. Heather, please call the roll.
All right, Commissioner Fix?
Yes.
Commissioner Gugesberg?
Yes.
And Commissioner Schultz
Abstain.
abstain? And President Schmitz?
Yes, motion carries. Thank you. Item 7B, consider resolution approving the revised policies and regulations for the Commercial Property Rehabilitation Loan Program.
Good morning. My name is Dave Schnobrick. I serve as the Community Development Director for the City of New Ulm, and I'm also responsible for the administration of the Commercial Property Rehabilitation Loan Program. This item was discussed at last month's EDA meeting, and at that time, staff advised the EDA that we'd like to make 2 major changes in the program. One was to establish a new loan program, and we had titled that a limited loan program. And that would have a maximum loan amount of $5,000, a 2-year repayment, and reduce loan and administrative requirements. The second major change that we proposed was to increase the maximum loan amount for the original program from $25,000 to $50,000. Discussion followed on the report, and the EDA then instructed the staff to contact local banks and ask them 2 questions. One question was regarding their willingness to provide administrative services for the limited loan program, since the limited loan program would only involve EDA money as the loan amount. And then the second question was, did the banks have any reservations about the EDA as a body approving loans that were in excess of $25,000. So I contacted the 5 banks that had originally participated in our meeting back in January on the program. And at the time I prepared the report, 2 of the 5 had responded to me. Since that time, all 5 have responded to me. So regarding the first question as to the bank's willingness to provide administrative services, and what we're looking at there is some credit analysis of the applications. 3 of the 5 banks said that they would be willing to do that. They had different cost requests, and if this is something that we pursue, I think we're just going to have to work things through with the individual banks as we proceed. The second question as to the banks have any reservations about the EDA approving the, any loan amount in excess of $25,000. All 5 banks said that was acceptable to them. They did note, a couple did note one reservation, and that was that depending upon timing, this could delay the loan approval process by up to 30 days. And one of the nice things about this program is typically when we get an application, we can normally turn it around in a week, 2 weeks, and then that project then can start, immediately. If we introduce, an additional step, that takes more time. If we get into the fall of the year and they want to do some exterior work, we don't have any good options at that point. So that's something to take into consideration. I would note that the increase, or when the EDA increased to allowing loans of $25,000, that was done in June of 1998. And so if you applied an inflationary factor to that, $25,000 then today is about $37,000. So there's some maybe consideration there that maybe we could, if you wanted to go to anything above 40,000 or something like that, so that I'd hate to hold people up in doing projects. That would be my only concern.
Anybody have any questions?
So the 2 banks that said no, is it just a time issue, or?
I think it's or a bank policy issue.
Okay. All right. I really like this. I've been pushing for getting getting these renewed and getting them back up and running and getting publicity out on these. I woke up this morning going, okay, $5,000, anybody can get it that gets vetted out through the bank. Are we going to have too many requests? Is that potentially a concern? Maybe not, but
I guess the only way we're gonna know is to start the program and
Suppose we
see
can
what
always-
happens. And we can always
always alter it.
alter it if
And maybe that's a
need be.
good thing. I don't know.
I mean, the EDA has been communicating that they want more
Want more to do.
activity.
Well, and I going back to this daycare issue, new daycares, if they have to have a window, egress window put in, or some fire doors or whatever, this could be a great opportunity for them as well. Just to get them up and running and getting them going. So that's my hope is some of these smaller businesses in our community can get going, or the bridge gap money that we talked about in here as well. So I'm very supportive of this, and I think it's, a question I would have then, Dave, if we approve this morning, how are we going to get the word out? I know that we talked about that last month too, but.
Well, I think we were looking at, first of all, working with the Chamber of Commerce. We would send a notification to all the banks in New Ulm. And I think we were going to do something on Facebook. The new administrative assistant that we have in the administration department will be working on this particular project. And so I think whatever avenues are available, we will use them.
I think we talked about that the banks are certainly going to be in the knowledge, but we want to make sure the general public, if they're sitting on that fence, do I open the business or not? Well, that extra 5,000 or this other one, 25,000 can really get me going, but not knowing about it, I want to make sure that the general public is, so it sounds like you got that covered, so thank you.
I think additionally, too, we had talked about a press release to local media.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah. Too bad we didn't have the media here today.
Any more discussion? Seeing none, entertain a resolution.
I'll offer that resolution.
I'll second it.
We got a motion and a second off the resolution, waived reading. Any more discussion?
Just, could I clarify, what size loan do you want coming back to the authority for consideration?
I think we should have knowledge of all of them if they're coming through us. For approval? Oh, what do you guys think?
I think over 25, you're getting, the current program today is 25,000. Anything over that should come through us.
I can live with that.
And 30 days isn't, we're not talking a 6-month process here to get something done.
If timing was an issue, would it be possible to call a special meeting if we needed to expedite approval?
That's up to
Sure.
the authority.
We certainly
We always
could.
have that
I would think
option
so.
if we are heading into winter and.
Timing is an
But if
issue,
it could
call
wait,
meeting.
we'll just do it at the next.
We can leave that up to you folks to decide if it's.
Okay.
So I'll add that to my resolution.
Okay, so we will amend the policies and regulations to add that step to the
Yes.
approval process.
Actually, 2 steps. I think we need to know about all the loans in the EDA, but approval of $25,000 or more.
Okay, I think, Heather
Do-
gives
Yeah.
a monthly report, and it
Sure.
could be included in that report.
Yep.
Mhm.
And thank you for your work on this. I appreciate it.
Okay. We have a motion and resolution. Any more discussion? Seeing none, Heather, please call the roll.
Commissioner Fix?
Yes.
Commissioner Gugesberg?
Yes.
Commissioner Schultz?
Yes.
And President Schmitz.
Yes, motion carries. With no more business, meeting adjourned.
Oh.